Habits in life can be a good thing and a bad thing, and today we're going to talk about three bad habits that could be making your life much harder than what it needs to be.
The first bad habit I'm going to talk about today is social media. Of course, we can't escape social media. It is around us wherever we are. However, there are a few things that you can do to stop a sense of addiction from social media and make you a little bit happier in life. When you're on social media, you probably know that you end up scrolling for hours on end. You're laying in bed in the mornings, you're not getting up, you're not being productive. And that is the biggest effect, really, that I personally believe social media has on you. It stops you from being able to achieve some things which you would have been able to achieve if you didn't do social media. If you took one guy who only was on social media all day, or he had that bad habit of social media, and then you took a guy who never used social media and they had the same business model, the same plans. This guy over here, who doesn't use social media, who doesn't have these distractions, just sat on his phone, he's going to achieve so much more because he is not dependent on this little bit of instant gratification to make his day a little bit better and get himself through the day. But that is the first habit of the day. Social media is something that you need to try your best to not stop, because I think it's important to have some connection to social media, but please just lower the amount you're using it. And my biggest statement here would be just delete TikTok. I think it's the worst social media and that 99.9% of people use the most time on. If you delete TikTok and you don't use any of the short form content versions like Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, if Facebook's got anything, Twitter's got anything, if you don't use them, then you're going to be fine and you'll probably be able to keep yourself away from that main distraction of social media. The second bad habit that you are probably doing and that you could change is not getting enough sleep. You need at least 8 hours of sleep in the night to be fully recharged. And when you start focusing and trying to sleep, the correct amount of sleep, then you're going to notice those days where you don't sleep as much because you can really, really feel it in your energy levels. However, when you're so used to not sleeping very much, if you're sleeping 5 hours, 6 hours, maybe seven, not the full eight, you're going to notice no difference. You're going to feel fine because your body's become used to functioning on such a low level of energy. However, when you start sleeping 8 hours, 9 hours, if you can, I would say just try for 8 hours. Then you're going to feel so much more refreshed. And the days you sleep 7 hours, 6 hours, you're really going to notice that you could have slept a little bit more. And if you'd spent 5 less minutes, 15 less minutes, 30 less minutes on social media, because I know you will do, that's probably what 10% of the people watching right now are doing, watching this before they go to bed. Turn this off. Yeah, just go to bed a little bit earlier than normal. If you're trying to wake up at 6 a.m., go to bed at 9. Or be in bed at 9. Have a set time for when you're in bed. That's really important for me. You need to have more than 8 hours of time in bed because it takes time to fall asleep. If you were saying, "Oh, I want to wake up at 6 a.m," everyone would go, "Oh, then just go to bed at 10." But then you get in bed and then you fall asleep after about 30 minutes, tossing and turning. Then you maybe have scrolled through a bit, so you're probably a bit like asleep at actually 11 o'clock. Then you're missing out on so much more time. So I would say go to sleep at 9 or get in bed at around 9 to wake up for 6, because then you're getting a full and refreshing amount of sleep. If you don't get a full amount of sleep and you don't get enough sleep, you will eventually start to be very drained of energy, and maybe one day you wouldn't even know why, to be honest. I've noticed some people that have become very like demotivated and stuff over time because they never would sleep very much. However, the second they started sleeping often, they were 100 times better, 100 times more productive. They achieved a million more things, and that is something that I think you could implement in your life too to help change yourself for the better by removing the bad habit of no good amounts of sleep, low amounts of sleep, you could say. less than 8 hours, and change that for good hours of sleep, 8 hours of sleep. Now, the last bad habit I'm going to talk about today is something that a lot of people will probably be affected by in a sense, and it can be seen as quite a bland and light-hearted thing, and that would be not focusing on hygiene and things like that. For me, it's really important to just smell good. I talk about it in almost every video. If you're not clean and you're not hygienic and you've got dirty hair, people around you are really going to notice that, and it's going to be so much more difficult to make good and long-lasting connections with great people if you are such a rough person and rough, scruffy looking person. I say that because if you saw two guys and you knew that both these guys, or you didn't know that both these guys were capable of the same thing, but the scruffy guy was better, you would pick the guy who looks clean and looks nice, presentable, because you don't want this scruffy guy doing this job for you. You want this guy who's looks like he can achieve it. So it's important to make sure that you look like you can achieve things and back yourself up with the ability to achieve things so that you have a better habit of staying clean, staying healthy, which gives you the possibility to achieve more in your day and more in your life. Watch this video right here for more help about self-improvement, and make sure to always progress regardless of how small a step you take.